The Minnesota Twins are winners of their first game at Dodger Stadium in more than 6,500 days. So let's talk about it. This is Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what do you say? Thanks for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and, of course, on YouTube. And we're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As a reminder, we talk about this every single day, but if you want to hang out in the comments section on YouTube, I'd love to chat with you guys and just have a little fun down there. But also, too, feel free to ask questions there on Twitter. Anywhere you can get a question to me is absolutely great. I will try to answer as many of them as I can in our seventh inning stretch of every episode. Also, too, don't forget to check out Locked On Twins Breathless post-game minutes after every game as quickly as we can. It's a late one tonight. If you are wondering why I look bleary-eyed, it's because I'm an old man doing this at 12:34 a.m. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get to that, make sure you download the Gametime app. They're our sponsor of the show tonight. Make sure you create an account and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Also, Twins play the Dodgers on Wednesday at Dodger Stadium. It is a gray May day game, 2:10 first pitch if you're going by Central Time, noon in Los Angeles. And yeah, Sonny Gray against Dustin May in the rubber game. Should be a fun one. Both guys throwing the baseball pretty well. Catch every pitch of the Twins' hometown broadcast with Corey and Danny with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Make sure to search Twins. So let's just get right into it. Let's get into the opener. Twins win 5-1 game that was a whole lot of fun to watch. And maybe that's in relation or relative to the root canal that we all stayed up and watched on Monday night into Tuesday morning. Twins jump out with a run early and never trailed, which when you're facing an offense like this Dodgers offense, it feels like they have an eruption imminent, and it's because they run, so good the top of their order, and to hold down this Dodgers offense the way Bailey Ober and company did with basically the B squad bullpen, not to be disrespectful to those guys, but that's an impressive victory against Clayton Kershaw, a no doubt Hall of Famer someday, pitching with a heavy heart, I might add, having lost his mother over the weekend. So we obviously thoughts with him, but gutsy effort for him to come out and pitch in this one. First Twins win in 6,549 days at Dodger Stadium. Now, granted, they don't play there as much as they play, for instance, Cleveland, Chicago, and that sort of thing. But June 11th, 2005 is the last time your Twins beat the Dodgers in LA. I have pulled the starting lineups from that game. Carlos Silva won. Twins won 5-3, I might add. Derek Lowe got the loss. And then Joe Nathan picked up his 18th save of the season. People remember this 2005 Twins team was one of the more disappointing ones, especially coming off such a good 2004 season. And honestly, when we look back on it, in advance of a 2006 season that was solid as well. But yeah, this 2005 team was a bit shaky. I'm just going to go through the starting lineup for the Twins. Lou Ford in left, Luis Rodriguez at second, Justin Morneau at first, Torrey Hunter in center, Chuck Jones in right, Glenn Williams at third, and Michael Kadire entered later in the game. Mike Redmond catching, Juan Castro at short. And again, like we said, Carlos Silva on the mound. And for the Dodgers, it's Cesar Izturis at short, Hee-Seop Choi at first, J.D. Drew in center, Jeff Kent at second, Jason Worth in right, Antonio Perez at third, Jason Grabowski in left, and Jason Phillips at catcher. Derek Lowe pitching that day for the Dodgers. So definitely a case of remembering some guys, which is a place we like to go on this program. But Twins snap a 6-game winning streak for the Dodgers. And I actually posted it on Twitter, but I think it's really, really good to see that the Twins don't look overmatched against good teams this season. The Astros, they looked competent against. The Yankees, they beat in the season series. And so far, they haven't looked overmatched by the Dodgers. In fact, quite the opposite. Now, not that they didn't get behind the Dodgers. Obviously, they did because they lost on Monday. But the way they battled back, they didn't just roll over. We've seen some games in the past where the Twins go in to hostile territory and just look like they're not ready for primetime players. That hasn't been the case here. And this is a Twins team that's not really starting their A lineup right now for, a handful of reasons. But the fact that Willie Castro's in left on a night the Twins beat the Dodgers, it says a lot of good things, is what I'm going to say. Clayton Kershaw, a lot of swing and miss on the breaking stuff, but his pitch count bunched up real quickly. And that was not considered ideal as the Dodgers ran through their pitching staff in Monday's game. So Shelby Miller and Justin Bruihl throw 2 innings apiece, and then youngster Victor Gonzalez throws a scoreless frame as well. The Dodgers had to get creative there with Kershaw coming out. Now, the Twins were in a similar position, and Bailey Ober gave them 6 strong, again, lessening the burden. And then we'll talk to you about the contrast of the bullpen usage in this game versus the loss on Monday. But obviously, Ober going 6 lessens the burden on the rest of the bullpen. And, he was working with the fastball up like he does. I thought his changeup was the best I've probably seen it, probably ever. 14 swinging strikes, went over 100 pitches for the first time in his career. And that sets a new career high that was from his last start 5 days ago, where he threw 96. So uncharted territory for Ober. Also, too, Ober got a little wobbly in the 5th inning and worked out of some trouble with Chris Taylor grounding out. No, sorry, I'm looking for the bottom. Hayward flying out to left, runner on, representing the tying run, and Hayward pasted that ball. That could have been the tie, or it could have tied the game. Instead, Ober wriggles out of danger. I kind of assumed he wasn't going to go back out there for the 6th, but he did, and was awesome. Max Muncy strikeout, JD Martinez strikeout, and then James Outman lined out to right, or flew out to right, sorry. Ober just completing 6 phenomenal innings. Also, too, the Twins used their bullpen. And again, in a way, I'm going to break this down in a little bit. But it was good to see some guys work in different roles than we had grown accustomed to. Twins also add a 2-run homer from Kyle Farmer late, which, obviously ended up being pretty nice insurance runs to have as the Twins went to Griffin Jacks for the 9th inning. And I like Griffin Jacks a lot, but he's been a little wobbly of late. So 4-run deficit or 4-run cushion obviously feels a lot better if you're the Twins in that instance. In all, a great overall team win. We are going to take a quick second here. I got a few more things I want to talk about this game. And then I also, too, want to go back to the absolute debacle on Monday night in a lot of different ways. But before we do that, let's talk about Gametime MLB, one of our sponsors that we have really enjoyed working with of late. Gametime.co. So don't go to gametime.com, but gametime.co and get tickets. It's sports tickets, it's concert tickets, it's theater tickets, it's all that fun stuff. Twins coming back to town here pretty soon. You'll be able to catch a ball game if you like, even if it's last second and you want to get really good seats. This is the place to go. I'm not kidding. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB, all one word, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now, again, thanks for making us your first listen every day. If you're an everydayer, check back tomorrow. After the matinee, we will have some coverage of hopefully what's a Twins series win, but we'll see. I like the pitching matchup tomorrow as far as Dustin May and Sonny Gray, but someone's going to have to lose that game, even if both those guys throw the ball well. So we'll see what we're discussing a little later on here in Wednesday's episode. But again, knock on wood that it'll be a victory. So again, Twins play the Dodgers on Wednesday tomorrow at Dodger Stadium, 2:10 p.m. first pitch. It's noon on the West Coast. And again, Sonny Gray against Dustin May. You can catch every pitch of the Twins' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just make sure you search for Twins. Now, I watched the Dodgers broadcast. Don't ask me how. I can't divulge my secrets. But they made an interesting point about why the Twins were why Kershaw was a tough matchup for the Twins. I want to say it was Joe Davis said that the Twins were not good this season against breaking balls from lefties. Now that's getting into the splits a little bit intense. Again, I like statistical analysis like that, but it's early in the season, so who knows how many left-handed breaking balls they've faced. But with that said, I did dive into it and take a look, and wouldn't you know it, Twins 489 OPS on breaking balls from lefties, 27th among 30 MLB clubs. Kershaw had that curveball working, and I believe actually he had 14 swings and misses through the first 3 innings, and 13 of them were on the breaking ball or a breaking ball of some sort. So he really, really had that working. And again, that assuming that data stabilized to some respect, again, tough matchup for the Twins, and they outlasted them, which I think honestly they deserve some credit for too. This is a future Hall of Famer, and honestly, still maybe not at his peak, but he still has it. Again, just very impressive. But that was an interesting thought that Joe Davis had that I had to research. Also, Twins jump out zone not great. Again, I didn't like the strike zone early in the game. I mean, the strike zone, especially on that Alex Kirilloff plate appearance on Monday night, absolutely disastrous, absolutely terrible. And I felt like the zone was a little tricky this time early in the game. So I'll be interested to see what the umpire report card looks like when that comes out. Because I think it kind of leveled out more as the game went on. But I thought early on, strike zone wasn't great. Carlos Correa, for instance, made 4 outs in the first 4 innings, 2 strikeouts and then a ground ball double play. The struggles, they're starting to mount. I mean, we're 6 weeks into the season and he's not hitting his weight, or he's under the Mendoza line or close to it. But he's not taking it out into the field with him. He made a tremendous defensive play early in the game in the midst of those offensive struggles. So it's very clear he can separate the two sides of the game, but it surely would be nice to see the bat, start to come around a little bit more than it has. Twins jump out early in Tuesday night's game with a Donovan Solano double. And then they tacked on runs in the middle and scored late. So what I like to see from this Twins offense was that it wasn't just score early and then hold on for dear life late. A run in the first, fourth, fifth, and then 2 in the ninth. And that Kyle Farmer home run was huge. I can't say enough good things about Kyle Farmer and what he's meant to this team to this point. And I mean, you can't undersell a guy who's slashing. Again, small sample size, but we're talking about what he's done, not what he's going to do. 293, 364, 483. Like, I mean, he's basically giving you Jose Miranda numbers when Jose Miranda was not. Again, you cannot overstate what he has meant to this team. But the Twins tack on runs with that Farmer homer late off Justin Brule, and that was just kind of it. But again, first inning, fourth, fifth, and ninth, the Twins had a consistent offensive effort, chipped away. They did have a bunt that brought in a run, so a bunt, a homer. They kind of did a little bit of everything, which it takes a village. Also, too, this was kind of funny. The Dodger broadcast was talking about how Clayton Kershaw, who had a pitch violation, a pitch clock violation, and then he also and I hadn't seen this yet in the big leagues, had 2 throws over disengagements with Michael A. Taylor, and on his third one, didn't get Taylor out, and so Taylor was awarded second base as a balk. So anyhow, Joey Gallo's at the plate, and one of the guys on the Dodger broadcast said, "Oh, wouldn't it be something if he gave up a hit here where the shift probably would have helped him last year?" And so there's kind of like it was the hat trick of rule changes kind of biting him. And then Gallo serves a ball into right, almost on cue. And so it kind of made me laugh. He had the hat trick tonight. Also, too, great job by the Twins bullpen stepping up. Bullpen tired after both Juan Duran and Jorge Lopez go multiple innings. And that was kind of what was funny to me, too, was everything was lined up exactly how you would want in the 9-8 loss on Monday, the 12-inning loss, just absolutely crushing loss. You got multiple outs, more than an inning from both Duran and Lopez, which is very uncommon. Lined up exactly how you'd want to line up your bullpen to win a ball game. Jax, Duran, Lopez. Lose. And a lot of times we'll hear fans say, just win the game in front of you. Win the one that, win today, deal with tomorrow. Well, that's all good and well, but sometimes even when you're set up to win, it doesn't work out that way. And then suddenly it's easy to lose that second game. And then those people are ticked that you didn't save somebody in game one. Again, it all comes back to appeasing fans who never have to have that accountability, #accountability for making those decisions. But anyhow, Twins line up their bullpen exactly like they would have wanted to in Monday and lose. Then you come back to Tuesday, and Ober gives you 6. Then you got Brock Stewart getting a couple outs, Giovanni Moran getting 4 outs, including some big ones against the parts of the order that the parts of the Dodgers order that he probably wouldn't usually face if everybody was up tonight. And then Griffin Jax pitching the 9th inning would have been a save situation if not for the Kyle Farmer home run. So obviously Twins still have Jax kind of in that mix in late innings. Haven't shuffled him down too much in light of his struggles. But yeah, it's funny how you line up the bullpens differently. You did everything you want from a bullpen and lose in game one. Kind of have to patch it together in game 2, and everything comes up aces. Giovanni Moran for a second there looked like he was going to get away with throwing 1 strike on the night and getting a hold. He did come back out and throw a scoreless 8th inning. And actually, I want to go down the list of batters he faced in the 8th, because it wasn't just run-of-the-mill guys. It was Max Muncy, J.D. Martinez, and James Outman. Now, Martinez, a right-handed hitter, so you obviously got to worry about being susceptible to him, but Max Muncy striking out. Muncy has great plate discipline, and he's just been a real, despite hitting 200, tough out this season. So again, give Moran his flowers for how he pitched in the 8th, but I definitely did not see that coming and definitely was worried. And I even tweeted to the effect that the Twins and their fans would have to white knuckle something like Emilio Pagan in the 8th inning of a tight game. I mean, Moran is the left-handed Pagan out there, I think, in terms of wobbliness, but ultimately getting the job done. It's just funny how baseball is like that, where you can have everything lined up exactly the way you want and lose, or patch together and win. Baseball is a funny game, and if you try to predict it, you will fail and fail miserably. All right, to close, coming down the 7th inning stretch, we'll get to your questions, but I wanted to kind of speak more to the effect of just, how lousy the umpiring was on Monday. Blatantly foul ball by David Peralta brings in runs late to keep the game, to prolong the game, to tie the game. Basically, it was a comedy of errors by the umpiring staff. That one was clearly foul. And I saw someone say, too, they have tracking for that in tennis, see if the ball hit the line, missed the line, in or out. Why can't they do that with foul balls now? I hope that's the next thing that they shoot for, because to me, that technology just seems like a no-brainer. And then you have just the absolute and by the way, just having Phil Cuzzy on this umpiring staff. I know he didn't call the foul ball. It wasn't his call. But having him on the staff for an important foul ball that goes against the Twins, even still, I'm just kind of like, really? But yeah, then 2 egregious strikes behind the plate from Cuzzy with Alex Kirilloff up late. Kirilloff ends up striking out. Just absolutely disastrous umpiring. That was in the 10th. I don't even know what you say about that, but it was just like, that was a huge part of the frustration, was that the Twins felt like that had been taken from them. Jorge Lopez walks in the winning run. That's known as, affectionately in the statistical Twitter community, shrimp, when the winning run is walked home, which it doesn't happen that often, which is why it's such a fun thing to kind of look for. But yeah, and so the pitch that Lopez delivered the walk on to pinch hitter Trace Thompson, I might add, who's been mired in an absolute funk offensively. That pitch was pretty much exactly in the exact spot of the pitch that got Alex Kirilloff one of the strikes. I can't remember. I think it was outside first, inside second. So it would have been the first strike off the plate for him, but inside or to arm side rather for Lopez. Basically the same pitch, and walks in a run. Just overall the kind of game where the Twins chipped away and felt like they had a chance. And then it felt like, in extras, they push one across to force it. 2 extras, push one across in the 10th. And you got your closer out there, your big guy in Duran. Doesn't work out. And then 2 empty spots in the 11th and 12th. And honestly, you're playing with fire if you go that far into extras and you're the road team. So, I mean, winning would have been nice, but the deeper you get into that, the less beneficial it is to you as the away team. I don't think I'm explaining anything too revolutionary there, but between the strike calls to Kirilloff and the foul ball called fair, there was ample reason for Twins fan angst on Monday night. And I think the fan base as a whole did a good job to rebound. Again, you guys don't need me giving you a pep talk, but I thought that the Twins fan base rebound was pretty great. So make sure you check out Twins Dodgers 210 on Wednesday at Dodger Stadium. It is Gray versus May, and it's going to be a real fun one. It's the rubber game. You can catch every pitch of the Twins' hometown broadcast with Corey and Danny with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just make sure you search Twins. We're going to get to some of your questions here quick. We're running a little low on time. However, our friend Anthony wants to know how long until we declare that the Twins have 4 legit power righties in the bullpen with the performance from Beef Stew. That's Brock Stewart for those who are not as terminally online as some of the rest of us. That's Brock Stewart throwing 98 or touch 98 in this one. And again, it's going to come down to command. In some respects, it's kind of like that for Giovanni Moran. Moran doesn't throw as hard, but also from the left side it's all relative. So 95 from the left side is probably as common as upper 90s from the right. So anyhow, similar concept though. The command will determine how far both of those guys go to, if they can move up that totem pole if they can move up that ranking. Also, too, when Thielbar comes back, he's in that mix as well. You still have the option to go get someone like Brent Hedrick down at AAA. I think he's been starting though lately, with the injuries. But 4 power righties, as far as raw overpowering stuff, I mean, maybe you could even say 5. I mean, it's not as though Emilio Pagan doesn't throw fire too, but it just depends on how much they trust him moving forward. Let's see what else we got here. Corey Moen wants to know, why do people get so mad at Rocco for things he has nothing to do with, like injuries, for example? So my theory of the disdain for Rocco is it's kind of multiple facets. First of all, they naturally don't like losing, which the Twins have done a lot of in the last couple seasons. Twins fans were fine with him and his newfangled methods. Sometimes the way Twins fans view a game is like when someone would sweep through a city back in the 1860s with their magic tonics. And, I don't really know why that's the case, but it just seems to be. And when Rocco's teams started losing, fans were like, well, then his methods are all wrong, even though the methods were the same when they were very good in 2019, very good in 2020. So I think Twins fans have become trained on the concept of like Guardy ball, the bunts, bringing in different guys in specific roles in the bullpen rather than, one guy pitching the 7th one night and the 9th the next because of matchups. So I think the fan base has become poisoned on Rocco that way. They also think he's too passive, which I always think it's eyewash. You can't just get thrown out of a game just to get thrown out of a game. That if it's not your genuine personality and feeling, players and the boys will see through that to the point where, it just it's a way to lose a team in a clubhouse. As far as injuries, who even knows? This has been a fan base also too that has been notoriously tough on Joe Mauer, Byron Buxton, other injured great players. For whatever reason, though, that's the one way Minnesotans are truly aggressive. Otherwise, I mean, we're still aggressive. It's just passive aggressive, which is bad. Our friend Tyler wants to know, how nice is it to have fallback options that are MLB caliber players all around the field? You can't say enough of it. I mean, you may not want to say it about Donovan Solano, although he did have a pretty nice game this on Tuesday. But Michael A. Taylor has been a godsend in center, especially defensively. He did have one ball. In fact, the Dodgers only run scored on a ball that hit him on the palm, but he couldn't corral for the final out of the inning. But between him and then Kyle Farmer, when he's been around, has been just magnificent, filling in wherever the Twins have needed him. And that seemed like it was kind of what they wanted to do this offseason, was attack their depth or lack thereof. And it's been huge, absolutely huge. Even Willie Castro, it's not like the Twins are going to get one of these prospects who hasn't played in the big leagues. They go get Willie Castro, who has ample big league time. Still a young guy. I think he's 26. But having a guy with MLB experience who's young and can fill in all over the place, that was a shrewd signing. But these moves were all shrewd. They would not get front page billing in a local newspaper, but it's the reason this team is winning. Kyle Farmer right now, Michael A. Taylor all season long, again, especially defensively, but he's popped a couple baseballs as well. The depth of this team has been just phenomenal. John Lano says this team is dramatically better than last year's team, despite the similar record to this point. And we talked about this in a previous episode too. The fuse had been lit toward the powder keg at that point, I think, of the 2022 Twins, in that the bullpen was starting to show some dents in the armor and some real issues with the starting staff not getting enough length, especially from Chris Archer, Dylan Bundy, the 40% of that rotation that none of us can quite figure out ever was the point. So yeah, I do think this team is a lot better. Also, too, I don't think anybody else in this team this division, is any good. I don't think Cleveland has the offense to hang. Their pitching staff is their pitching staff, and it's going to be good. Especially, I think their bullpen is, I think, to me, more impressive than their rotation, especially after Bieber got roughed up by the White Sox of all teams on Tuesday night. I think they are immensely the Twins better at this point of last year. And I know the records, like you said, very, very similar, might even be downright identical. This team's in a way better place, and I'm not impressed by the rest of the Central. I tweeted too, how nice is it to have a team that doesn't feel overmatched? Our friend Josiah said, this Twins team feels so different than anything we have seen in recent seasons. They don't back down. Heck yeah. Let's finish with this one. Our good friend Andy Pletcher said, where does Byron Buxton's walk rate compare to the rest of his career? Perhaps I'm more patient for him, but it feels like he's walking more often than usual. Good observation, especially if you're an observer of the team and not someone who spends the day obsessively reading Fangraphs like me. He is walking at a career high 12.8%. We generally, for me, anything 10% or above is a big deal. It's a great deal. Again, that's walking one every 10 plate appearances. So 12.8 is about one every 8 or so plate appearances, which is great. But career rate is 6.9%. Last year was 8.9%, which was his career high to that point. So yeah, he's walking more. Is it respect walks? Is it plate discipline walks? Is it a combination of the two? I think we'll know more about that here a little later that we go into the season to see if that walk rate fluctuates as the offense gets healthier. But I think too, it's just he's really rounding into form as a hitter. So yeah, Andy, he is walking more than in the past and almost twice as much as he has over his career. Well, hey, that's all I have for you. If you are an everydayer, first of all, thanks for making us your first listen every day. But second of all, make sure to check back. We will have a full series wrap on Wednesday after the day game. And it's, hopefully Gray versus May ends up going the way of the Twins, but it's going to be a fun battle. Afternoon baseball. It'll be nice after staying up till 1 a.m. the last two nights. But with that said, that's all we got for you. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your stuff at. Click like on YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to or watching. And if you like the show, tell your friends. If you don't, tell me what I can do to make it better, because that's all I want to do is make this the best version of itself. Also, too, send us questions for the 7th inning stretch. We'd love to hear from you at Locked On Twins, at Brandon_WARNE. DMs are open, but this is Brandon Warren signing off and saying thank you so much. And don't forget to stop by tomorrow.